Hey guys, it's Forsaken Reality here with another tutorial, and in this one we're going to be looking into merging Survival Game Kit V2 and our MP system V2. I'm assuming that MP system is multiplayer system, and that's basically this asset right here. If you did not know, I'll leave a link in the description for both the assets. So basically this is a really nice first person setup asset. So we have true first person using a third person mesh basically. So without further ado, we will get into this. In this first one, we're going to be looking into migrating the files and setting up our camera system and swapping out the mesh and dealing with our sockets, and we'll set up some of the basic animations before we start editing our animation blueprint. So without further ado, we will get into that. Just to showcase what's going to happen in this video specifically, we have our first person camera. You'll notice that you can see your chin there. That's because the spine rotation isn't set up for multiplayer system. We'll be doing that as well. Pick up our weapons. You notice the hand location's off. We'll be going through that as we get through our animation blueprint, but mainly the focus was getting the default animations in place and the camera system, so we have our full body camera moving. It's just the animations and some positioning that needs to be fixed, and we're going to be swapping out some code with multiplayer systems. You notice that we have the spine sway, but that's the sway from Survival Game Kit, for example. So without further ado, now we will get into setting this up. Alright, so I'm just gonna move this project over here. So I have a blank project here, which is Survival Game Kit that I migrated multiplayer system into, so that the blank project itself, the base project is Survival Game Kit. So we have all the inputs stuff set up for Survival Game Kit. We're gonna have to do all that. So the first thing we're going to do after we migrate all the files, you can pause the video and migrate your files in here. And then once we do that, we're going to want to go and open up our multiplayer system skeleton. And our Survival Game Kit skeleton. And what we're going to do here is we're going to use the multiplayer system skeleton as the main skeleton. We're not going to be using Survival Game Kit, mainly because you notice there's a weapon bone. There's a bone on here that's for a weapon, and we're going to want that bone. So options. I'm going to go to our UV4 mannequin for our Survival Game Kit. Then we're going to show all sockets and hide bones. And I'm just going to select all these. Control click and shift click to select from there to there. Control click to select those. And unselect the camera socket because we're not going to want that one. And we're going to our root. First, before I paste these on, I'm going to select these holster sockets and delete those. And now I'm going to right click on the root bone and paste sockets. And that'll add on all of our Survival Game Kit sockets in the correct locations. I'm going to save that. Make sure both of your skeletons are set to humanoid. If yours are not, you're going to want to set those. And then we're going to want to go to our browse to our Survival Game Kit mannequin, skeleton. And we're going to retarget to another skeleton. Select our multiplayer system skeleton. And then click retarget. That should take a minute. So now we have our animations retargeted to our multiplayer system skeleton. Just gonna click delete on this. There's a few more things we're gonna want to move over. So all those skeletal meshes. So we can right click and delete, or click the delete button on your UE4 mannequin skeleton survival game kit. And we're gonna select our multiplayer system skeleton, and we're gonna replace references. So that'll allow all the skeletal meshes to work on our multiplayer system skeleton. I'm gonna pause this while this loads. And once that finishes, you'll come up to this screen and you just want to click Save Selected. And I'm just gonna fix up redirectors. Pause while that does that, I suppose. It seems to be, oh, never mind. Save all. So that's our retargeting done. And now we want to go into our survival game kit blueprints and character and open up our character blueprint. And the first thing we're going to do is swap out our mesh here with the multiplayer system character. And you'll notice that the animations should all be working fine on this mesh specifically. We'll get rid of these other ones later on in the video. And now we're going to want to attach our camera boom. We're going to be using our third-person camera, and we're going to be eventually getting rid of this one. So I'm just going to attach it, move this up to my mesh so that and now it's in the mesh folder. Drop down. I'm going to set the length to 0. Reset the probe size to 12. Inherit role. Keep that on for now. Eventually we're going to disable that once we have it all set up in the animation blueprint, but that can be used temporarily for seeing how things are moving. And also we're going to want to search our parent socket on our camera boom and get our camera FP. And gonna reset these. We're gonna want to go to our multiplayer system, game blueprints, and our master BP. And we're gonna select our camera boom, copy the rotation, paste it on our rotation here. And seems to be it for that. So now we click play. Should have a rotation. The head rotation doesn't spin properly, mainly because we don't have our rotation set up for multiplayer system in our animation blueprint, which we will get to that. I'm just testing out, so you'll notice that the weapon rotates. It's because it's using the procedural survival game kit animations, which is useful. We may end up swapping it out for the setup in the other one. So yeah, you notice you'll have your setup slightly working, but we're going to do some changes now. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm just going to open up my blueprints and survival game kit, and items, holdable, And I'm just gonna open up my M4. And I'm gonna scroll down. First thing I'll look for is my speeds. Okay, movement. You want to find your movement speeds, and we're just gonna disable this. So it's not specifically set. You can keep that on and adjust your movements here if you wanted to, but I'm gonna set default movement speeds. You can set up some of our animations in here. So you want your third person animations. Change this mannequin out for the multiplayer system mannequin. And I'm gonna go in the upper body standard. Search for SMG idle. Make sure it's SMG idle, not SMG W idle. The W idle is for the weapon. This weapon is animated itself. See the W, that means it's for the weapon. Trying to find the walk animation. I think this is it right here, the walk FW. Yeah, it's from the multiplayer system. Sprint. You just search SMG sprint forward. Copy that one and paste it right there. And we'll deal with our crouch animations after, just the ones that don't use the actual crouched legs. And the aimed. So SMG. Yeah, so we're gonna use our SMG aimed idle, copy that. Paste that on all of these. The A aimed idle we're gonna replace with the SMG idle. Movement is gonna be BS combat, which is our movement from multiplayer system. And we'll deal with the crouching after. Combat aim animations. We have our SMG aimed idle. Combat. I believe that will be all of those animations in for now. And then you'll notice when we pick up our M4, slightly looks off because we're using the wrong socket, and we're going to need to redo some stuff in the animation blueprint so we can get our rotation properly. But you can see that we're using the animations from multiplayer system now, or some of them. There's a couple more things I wanted to do in here, I think. Yeah, so one more thing I'm going to do in here. It's going to look odd in game for the moment, for the time being, but we'll fix that. I'm going to look for the, where is it? Sockets. And you want to change the holding socket to the weapon. Because that's the socket that that's our weapon bone. And you'll notice now when you pick it up, it'll be should be slightly sideways. That'll get all fixed once we do set up things in our animation blueprint. So the gun's sideways, but it's being held the way it should be. You notice that like the gun's going off oddly there. It's because we need to use our proper animations and stuff, and that'll get all fixed within our animation blueprint. Now we're going to go into we're going to set up our speeds, because you'll notice that our leg movements when we have our weapon equipped should be using, but they're using the sprinting speeds because we're moving so fast, and the animations are set up for slower and slow to medium speeds. You can adjust the animation itself in the blend space combat. You can adjust the speed and make it faster, and then adjust these so they match up with the way you want it. But the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to use the multiplayer systems speed setup. So we're going to go components, player inventory, and we're just simply going to search speed, and you get all your movement speeds, the defaults. And basically this gets overridden when you tick this on right here. These will be the new speeds when you pick up this weapon. You can either adjust them here. They say you wanted different speeds with your weapon, but I don't. I just want a default jog speed of 300, combat jog 300, and the crouches I'm going to set to 150. Also, another useful thing, if you have on success only and you make a change and you click compile, if there's no errors in the compile, then it will also save the blueprint. So that's pretty useful one. Save some time. And now you'll notice that we have our walk speed set up. And we're going to be fixing this weird head thing in first person. Remember, once we set up our animation blueprint. And you'll have these. This is basically what we'll have now. Walking, sprinting. The weapon goes off because we need to do some animation stuff still. But we'll get to all that. But that's going to be everything for this episode. In the next one, we'll dig into our animation blueprint, dealing with our spine rotations. We'll also look into the leaning, the weapon blocking from, I believe, multiplayer system does have weapon blocking, so for weapon collision. So we'll swap that out for our survival game kits because it's much smoother in my opinion. And we'll look into setting up the shooting and basically everything else you can think of in multiplayer system. It looks a lot more complex than it actually is. When you actually break the system down into separate parts, so that you look through the code and like you narrow down what deals with the blocking in the controller, what deals with the blocking in the character, and what deals with the blocking in the animation blueprint. Then you take that specific part out and just deal with the blocking. Then you move on to the weapon sway, look for that, and then you move on, etc., etc. And that's how we'll be doing it through this video. That's going to be everything. So if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And if you have any questions, suggestions, or comments, feel free to leave those in the comment section below, or join my Discord community using the link in the description. We have a pretty helpful community, so I'm sure someone there will help you with your questions if I can't get to you in time. Thanks, and I'll see you all in the next episode.